people know how they are contributing in achieving our goals.
Part of something big.
Some part of
And,
something big.
What they do every day will affect a lot.
Yeah, and they are all relevant.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Manny Rubio, President and CEO of MGEN. You're tuned in to Power Podcast.
Welcome to Power Podcast. This is a channel where you can listen to in-depth discussions of issues relevant to the Philippines energy sector. Power Podcast is a production of Power Philippines, the only online publication in the country dedicated to covering energy development across the archipelago. We cover all news and issues that spark meaningful conversations among members of our growing online community. We share the belief that sustaining the growth of the energy sector is vital to the growth of the country.
Good day. Thank you for joining us in this episode of Power Podcast. Whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or listening to us via Spotify, Apple, or Google Podcast, we hope you will enjoy listening in. I'm your host, Mayie Tanglao. In this episode, we sit down with Mr. Manny Rubio, President and CEO of MGEN. 1 year into the role, he's redefining what it means to lead a legacy energy company, balancing bold renewables like MTerra Solar with the realities of thermal and LNG. We go deep on leadership, long-term vision, and what it takes to build a future-ready powerhouse where host communities are partners, innovation is constant, and the next big bet might just change the way Filipinos power their lives. Hi, Sir Manny. It's an honor it's an honor to have you again here at Power Podcast.
Thank you, a pleasure.
So, first question, sir. Can you tell us how you ended up in the energy sector?
I used to work for a multinational company for 20 years. Been assigned in, my first assignment was actually to move to, from Manila, move to Cebu when we bought a gas company. And then spent a few months in Hong Kong and then got assigned in Singapore in a regional role. And every time I move, I brought my family with me. And when we moved to Singapore, we already had our son. We stayed there for 4 years and came back and was appointed as president of that organization in the Philippines. That company was actually bought by a German company, and I'm being assigned again overseas. But at that time, my wife already was working for Union Bank. And I told my wife, time to pack our bags and going to Malaysia. And she said that, Manny, we're not getting any younger. We need some stability. You go on and then just shuttle back and forth. I was doing that for probably 2-3 months, 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out. Right? I said, it's not sustainable. I need to be with my family. And I started looking for opportunities in the Philippines and was fortunate. I was at the right place at the right time. Aboitiz to a JV with SN Power, SN Aboitiz Power, won the bid to acquire the Magatado Electric Power Plant, and they're looking for someone to head it. That company is called SN Aboitiz Power, and I was hired to lead it. That JV was successful, no? And a few months after that, we won the bid to acquire Ambuklaw Binga. We rehabilitated that, and then and we really delivered on the expectations of the shareholders, way beyond the expectations. And that's actually the impetus for Aboitiz Power getting the confidence to grow big in the energy industry. And yes, the rest is history.
Sir, follow-up lang. Kasi, syempre, you were approached by Mr. Pangilinan. Why did you accept the role? What was the deciding factor for you to accept it?
Yeah. Well, my first meeting with MVP was in October of 2022. No? And at that time, I told MVP I'd consider moving, but I have vesting in the Aboitiz, which I can only exercise when I retire. When I turned 60, I was 58 at that time. He even said he even offered to monetize it, and I said nope, I can't accept that. No, I'd continue, and then if you can find someone else, that's fine. If not, then when I turn 60, when I retire, then I can move. Though I've been extended, I was given an extension up to 2026. But then I felt that my successor in Aboitiz is ready, right? That I'd be doing Aboitiz Power a disservice if I stay, right? Because really they're all ready, right? And it's really time for me to move on. Companies actually also good, no? Especially the aspirations, the growth aspirations, which is really exciting. No? And I said, yeah, I think this is a place where I can really add value.
So you've now completed your first year. So nag-work anniversary ka na pala sa MGEN, sir. How has your leadership philosophy evolved since taking the helm, especially as you had the company through energy transition?
Yeah. Well, my leadership philosophy did not just evolve in the 1 year that I've been with MGEN. Of course, all the learnings throughout my career, 20 years with a multinational company, 17 years in Aboitiz, I've learned two things that are not negotiables. Right? One is a strong culture has to be in place, strategy, which should drive the culture, and then execution excellence has to be there, right? Because any strategy, if you cannot implement it, if you cannot execute it, will be useless. So it's strategy with execution excellence. And then I've always believed that a good leader should always be engaging. And I'm a hands-on leader. I make sure that I have a feel of what's happening on the ground. I won't say I'll go out my way. I enjoy and take the energy from meeting with people. I think that's the opportunity where you can learn about the business that is not being reported. No? The informal discussions. That's why I continue to implement what I have been implementing in my previous organization. Almost a monthly discussion, coffee with EVR, a group of about 15 to 20 people, discussion on how they're doing, how management is doing, right, and how do they feel about the direction of the company, and it's really a free exchange of ideas, no? And I enjoy that. I learn from it, no? And I hope they also learn from the insights that I give. So that has been my leadership philosophy to really be engaging, because that brings inclusivity in the organization, and people feel that they are actually valued, no? But it's not something that I feel that I have to do. It's something that's what I am all about.
Parang nasa DNA niyo.
Nasa DNA ko eh. And I really enjoy meeting with people, and I get the energy from them.
I think it's very good that you keep people engaged, because that's one way of making them think out of the box.
Yeah, and I make sure that they're also comfortable. Parang when I joined MGEN, a lot were surprised na, the CEO is talking to us. Nakakausap naman pala yung CEO. And then I was curious, like, what was happening in the past, di ba? So it has changed. That's why I mentioned that strategy should drive culture. If we really want to achieve our goals, which are very lofty goals, no? Growing our business, we're building the largest solar plant in the world today, no? Coupled with the largest battery in the world today. It's not going to be easy. I want to make sure that people know how they are contributing in achieving our goals.
Part of something big.
Part of something big.
What they do every day will affect a lot.
Yeah, and they are all relevant.
Yes. So, what are the most important lessons you've carried from your past roles to MGEN? And how are these influencing the way that you build teams and drive execution?
Yeah. When I first joined MGEN in July of 2024, I was already exposed to some of the leaders. I've joined some meetings before formally joining, and I said what got MGEN to that point and where they want to be would really need something different. No? So I brought with me a number of leaders that are now part of my management committee. No? So I think what's important really is that I need to make sure that the people that we're hiring has an organizational fit, right? I've always said that when I look for people that I'm going to bring into the team, is that I hire for character, and because we can train for skills, right? It's really important that people that we're hiring have organizational fit, that we have the same mindset, the mindsets are aligned, the thinking is aligned.
Same
So it's
values.
very easy to carry them, di ba? And they, right from day one, we all hit the ground running, right? And that's why, in fact, we just had our leadership conference the first time actually after 12 months, no? Because we believe that that was the right time. We now know each other. We've captured a lot of the low-hanging fruits, so we've celebrated wins, and we've set bigger goals. No? And I think when we did that, everyone felt that that was the right time to do it.
I agree with you with hiring this based on the character, not on the skill set. And you know, yung the same yung mindset, kasi there's going to be a lot of push and pull
Yeah.
kapag hindi kayo pareho.
Well, of course, the skill sets need to be
Yes.
there, right? The competencies need to be there. But more important is that people feel that they really belong in that organization. And I've always said, you know, when you start feeling like when you wake up in the morning and trying to drag yourself out of your bed, right?
Yes.
Just to go to work, I think it's time for you to think about what's the next move, di ba? People also ask me about my work-life balance and said, you know, what's a work-life balance? If you're enjoying work, right? If you're enjoying what you do, if you love what you're doing, that's at work, right? So I don't know how that message is coming across to the team members, but I think they feel the energy. There's fun in the office. No, the atmosphere is light, right? And then, but you know, when come crunch time, people deliver.
People will step up.
Yeah.
So, sir, let's talk about MGEN's business. If you can, for the benefit of everyone, if you can give us an overview of the business of MGEN, subsidiaries, the projects under it, and mga developments.
Okay. Well, MGEN, or Meralco Power Generation, is a subsidiary of One Meralco. We're building power plants. No? By law, we're allowed to supply up to 50% of Meralco's peak demand. So far, we're not there yet, right? So I guess through the years, MGEN wasn't able to capitalize on that opportunity. No? Having said that, now we bought into the gas facilities formerly owned by San Miguel Global Power. No? We own now 40.2% of that. We formed a JV with the Aboitiz Power, and we own 60%. Aboitiz owns 40% of that JV called Chromite Gas Holdings, and Chromite Gas Holdings bought 67% of that facility in Batangas. We have what was an existing gas LNG to power plant, South Premier. We just recently commissioned and have delivered other 1,275 megawatts called Excellent Energy. And those two have won the bid to supply Meralco, through the competitive selection process. We're again also expanding by putting another 425 megawatts, which we are positioning to supply mid-merit to any opportunity that will come up. No? And then, of course, we have existing facilities, coal plants in Visayas, no? In Panay and Cebu, through an MPIC acquisition a few years ago, which has been turned over to MGEN as well, I think in 2017, which are supplying much needed energy, base load capacity in Visayas, plus reserves, ancillary services that is also much needed in Visayas. And then because of the our vision to transition to cleaner energy, we're investing heavily into renewable energy. So as I said, we're building the world's largest solar facility in the world, 3,500 megawatts in the provinces
In
of
the world,
for now. Yeah, because someone, I think, a UAE company said that they're building, if I'm not mistaken, 19 gigawatts. That's big. They have deserts. We don't have deserts, right? So between the provinces of Bulacan and Nueva Ecija, the size, almost the size of Pasig City, imagine. Yeah, and then it's integrated with a 4,500 megawatt hour battery. This project, MTerra Solar, has finally proven that a combination of variable renewable energy integrated with an energy storage as competitive as traditional sources of mid-merit supply, which usually was diesel in the past and now gas engines, in providing mid-merit from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. So even when the sun is down, we'll be providing 850 megawatts up to 9 p.m., that block. Right? So that's something that's trailblazing. In fact, we're even now looking at replicating that, no? Albeit on a smaller scale, maybe anywhere between 300 to 400 megawatts, constrained of course by land availability.
Himay-himay natin. We will start with yung sa M-thermal. So what is MGEN's evolving stance on thermal power in light of decarbonization goals and the DOE's coal moratorium?
Okay. We agree on the coal moratorium, although there are plants that have been exempted, no? Including two of our plants. They were submitted for construction, and part of the energy plan of the Philippines before the moratorium was actually issued. We believe that thermal plants are not enemies of energy transition. In fact, they support the transition. We need baseload plants to balance the variability of variable renewable energy. They're called variable renewable energy because they are variable. No? And I hope that people really understand how variable these plants are. No? And because of that, there is a need to strengthen the grid. Right? So it's not really just about transitioning to renewable energy. It's not as simple as that. No? It has to be calculated, well managed. Ambition needs to be injected with some practicality. Right? One thing is clear: we really need to transition to a cleaner energy future, because climate change is real. But each plant, each technology has a role to play. No? Gas would have a role to play, but gas has been considered a transition fuel. No? May not be for the long term, for sure for the midterm, because they can actually really be at the balancing plant. No? But with the emergence of battery technology and batteries becoming more and more competitive in terms of costs, I think batteries will be one of the key technologies that will be part of the country's energy portfolio in the future. So we will, if we are given the opportunity, and we have recently received that approval, to build Toledo, because there's really no option today in Cebu for other technologies, for technologies other than coal, unfortunately, to provide reliable, stable, and cost-effective power. Because coal remains to be the cheapest in terms of energy supply. I think in Visayas, that is actually critical. We have the permit to build at Timonan. We're looking for the opportunity to actually build that and participate in any auction, whether it's an auction of the distribution utilities, or I believe the DOE is looking at a baseload capacity auction. That's where we can also participate.
So given the long lead times and regulatory hurdles, how do you weigh new thermal investments against more flexible technologies like solar at saka yung battery storage?
As I mentioned, I think each technology has a role to play. We really need to make sure that Philippines has a well-designed portfolio of technologies, gas, coal, renewables, and even renewables, variable renewable energy, stable renewables like hydros or geothermal. I think that will drive what investments will need to be made by companies like MGEN. No? However, we really see the shift. And as costs go down and efficiencies go up, no, in this variable renewable energy like solar, wind, and batteries, there will come a time. In fact, I said the tipping point is when a combination of variable renewable energy and an energy storage in any form. No? But today it's a lithium-ion battery, no, that's most viable. It becomes as competitive as the traditional sources like coal and LNG in providing base load, right? Base load 24/7. When that's it, then we can really say that we have actually transitioned, and we have the ability to really put in renewable energy into the system. But I think that's still too far down the road. But that's why I said Terra Solar is transformative, because at least now we can consider variable renewable energy and energy storage, and that in this case a battery, to provide mid-merit. Now, how can we extend it from 8 to 9 to 8 to 8? Right? I think that's the next step. But today, I don't think that's viable, economically viable, not yet.
So you already mentioned MTerra, sir. Beyond scale, what excites you personally about MTerra and MGEN? And how do these projects reflect MGEN's broader legacy and transformation story?
Beyond the project itself, I think one thing that I'm really excited about is our role in the community. No? It's the size of Pasig City, as I mentioned, between two provinces, Bulacan, but mostly in Nueva Ecija. We've seen already the project transforming some of the municipalities where we are, in Nueva Ecija. So far, we have one of the things that we've done is that we have graduated 400 scholars, to work in the project for now, and then eventually they can work. They can work somewhere else if they decide to. They're part of the construction team, mostly scholarship on electrical installations, and one of the graduate, a female at that, mentioned that in a very male-dominated industry, they're proud that a number of them actually are women. And in fact, I'm not surprised. In my experience, women have the dexterity, right? And they're actually much more focused on the details. I'd rather actually see women assembling these things, rather than male. Male leave them to operating the plants in far-flung areas. But this one really is proven that a project can be inclusive, and goes beyond gender, goes beyond practices and beliefs. So, yeah, and then of course with if I'm not mistaken, today we probably have about 9,000 workers putting up the facilities. We are doing anywhere between 28 to 35 megawatts a day, right? Depending, of course, on the weather, and those 9,000 workers have to eat, and so there are now marketplaces within the project itself, formed by the local communities, and at the end of the day, when this is operational, imagine the taxes that this plant is going to bring to Nueva Ecija, and Bulacan. I'm really honored that we have been welcomed by the community. I've always taken the mindset that I'm just being a guest in the community, and these projects that we're having, we make sure that the community feels that they're part of it, that the value that they're getting is something that will uplift the community where we operate. Not just in Terra Solar, in all of the plants that we have across the Philippines.
So if I might go back with the 9,000 workers, paano pagtapos na?
Pagtapos na, well, we need to maintain 3,500 hectares worth of solar panels. I think we will maybe not that many, but it will provide significant employment to the provinces.
Pero at least, diba, yung ripple effect naman.
The ripple effects will be felt for years, right? As I said, once the project is done, of course, real property taxes, local business tax, right? DOE has this program of ER1-94 where you contribute 1 centavo for every kilowatt hour of generation. So you can just imagine. No?
ER-94 yun yung parang rural electrification, tama?
Well, the ER1-94 fund can be used, I think, in 4 areas. Electrification, livelihood, education, and health. I think those are the areas where DOE would be looking at distributing the fund for host communities to avail of, no, and spend it addressing those areas. If I'm not mistaken, I think those are the 4 areas.
So, sir, are there specific solar, wind, or hydro models that you believe will define the next phase of MGEN's renewable build-out?
Well, as I said, once MTerra Solar is operational, we're looking at MTerra Solar 2. Once we've delivered the first phase, which we expect to be in March of 2026, then we will be putting resources to development of MTerra Solar 2. No? I think now DOE has come up with part of the portfolio, no, under the Green Energy Auction program, what they call Integrated Renewable Energy and Energy Storage, IRES. No? And I think that should be the case. No? Because as I said, variable renewable energy is really variable. We are all paying for the variability because of the ancillary services that are required to balance that variability. If moving forward, model should be the investors for solar or wind, they are also variable, should always include batteries behind the meter so they regulate themselves, which I think would be viable, more than viable.
So, sir, let's talk about natural gas. How central is it to your vision of a secure and flexible Philippine power grid?
Yeah, well, natural gas is core to the portfolio, no? Not just for MGEN but for the country. Today we operate a terminal, an LNG terminal. We have onshore storage. We have now one onshore tank. We're building another one to have a buffer of about 30 days. No? Having said that, the existing South Premier or Ilihan plant is still connected to the Malampaya pipeline, right? So once gas is available, we welcome supply of indigenous gas. As in the law, there has to be access to everyone to that gas, and we will take whatever they can supply to augment our LNG facility. So, having said that, gas, in our case LNG, and then eventually when gas is available through the Malampaya pipeline, has been considered as a transition fuel, no? And they are actually needed to balance, no, to balance the variability of renewable energy, and to play a major role in terms of providing the baseload requirements for now of the country, no? But eventually, hopefully, just for mid-merit. So it is core to our strategy, not just in the Philippines but also overseas. No? As you know, we own 58% of Pacific Light and Power. We have 825 megawatts today of generation facilities, plus we just commissioned another 100 megawatts of standby plant, no? Contracted by the Energy Management Authority of Singapore. And we're looking at other opportunities within the region where we can participate to grow our gas. No? In fact, we also just been awarded by EMA to build another 600, but in this case, we're building 670 megawatts still in Singapore to be operational by January of 2029. So that's big.
But how do you reconcile that with calls for faster decarbonization?
Well, LNG, compared to burning coal, emits much lesser carbon dioxide. I think as what they determined, no, it is a transition fuel. We need LNG, no, as a step forward towards a transition to a cleaner future. And again, I mentioned that the tipping point is when a variable renewable energy and any form of energy storage becomes competitive, no, in providing baseload power, just like what coal can provide, what LNG can provide. Then that's it. I guess you can really forgo thermal plants. In fact, Meralco, the distribution utility, is still maintaining the statement that they will be coal-free by 2050. Most of our plants would be fully depreciated by then, and we're ready to actually shift. Part of the condition for Atimonan is to act beyond 2050. It cannot operate burning coal. It has to use alternative fuel, clean fuel, and that's why in this case probably ammonia, right, or LNG for that matter, or shut it down, right. When we accepted that condition, we said that regulations or probably market forces will even dictate. It doesn't even have to be on that paper, right? And what will happen to coal plants, not just at Timonan, but all coal plants in the Philippines and in the world, right?
So you've often spoken about balancing stakeholder interests. How do you ensure your host communities feel that they are true partners, not just hosts in your energy projects?
Good question. As I said, whenever we build plants, our mindset is always we're just being a guest, and we must be well-behaved guests in those communities. Of course, we do a lot of CSR projects. We contribute, we bring back to the community our gains. But I'd like to go beyond CSR. Even when I was with my former company, we said, I think what's more important is we create shared value together with the communities. And I've always taken the mindset that, corporate success, a successful business will bring about social development because we can help fund social development within the communities. But only when there's social development, you can be assured of sustained corporate success. Because symbiotic, di ba? The host communities need to be welcoming, need to appreciate what you're contributing, need to appreciate your presence. And with that, you really work together, right? And that's why you create shared value together. And I've always taken the mindset that, you can be measured. Our board is measuring us in a number of metrics, mainly numbers, financial. But to me, one of the more important measures is how you really make a difference in the lives of the people that live within the communities where you operate. Because that's something that you see, that's something that you feel when you go there. And I'm that person that I need to be there. I practice visible leadership. I want to be present, and engage not just the team members within the plants that we operate in those areas, but also with the community in general.
So lagi kayo bumibisita sa lahat?
Madalas. Although recently hindi masyado because of all the projects that we're having, difficult to actually visit all of these projects when you have a number, But anytime I have the opportunity, I go. And
Usually, di ba may resistance from the communities pagka may mga projects. So, kailangan they understand.
Kaya the projects that we do, we don't engage when we're just going to break ground. We engage way ahead, right? I think that's the way to do it. Hindi pwede yung you start engaging when you're already there, when you're already constructing. You engage early on, and that way the community would feel that they are part of this project. They also are valued, valued stakeholders of this of the projects that we actually execute.
Sir, can we talk about Playa Sardines and Clinica Barangay?
Yeah, those are just some of the examples of our projects in areas. If I'm not mistaken, Playa Sardine would be in a plant where we have the solar facilities in near the coastal area. Some of the examples, as I said, this scholarship programs that we've started. The goal is around 600. In fact, a few months ago when we had this event in Vaisia, we only graduated 60. I got a report recently, 400 na pala yung gagraduate, and we're well on our way to 600. Because this project will actually, the second phase will be, the scheduled delivery is in February of 2027. We believe we can deliver it earlier than that. We still need people. And we will not stop with Terra Solar. So once we have finish this project, we can take these people if they want to, if they're mobile enough to be moved to another location, no? Kasi hindi naman pwedeng puro Nueva Ecija lang, no? And we're even looking at Terra Solar to be south of Luzon, no? We're active in Brigada Escuela, right? I think we're contributing to 31 municipalities and a number of schools, no? And then Balik Escuela, we're also together with the One Meralco Foundation, giving basic needs to school children, no? In fact, next week I think we'll have a Brigada Escuela, and looking forward to propping up the schools again, no? Painting chairs and walls.
I used to be part of Brigada Escuela when I was in BDO.
Saya, di ba?
Yes. At ang hirap magpinta ng ng mga
chairs.
chairs. Akala mo ganun-ganun lang.
Exactly.
Pero ang hirap-hirap niya.
Ang record ko yata 14 chairs in
Ay,
half a day.
As the energy transition accelerates, what emerging technologies beyond battery storage are you watching closely? And what role should MGEN play in piloting or scaling this in the
Yeah.
Philippines?
I think, well, you mentioned beside battery technology, but that technology keeps on evolving, in terms of cost, in terms of efficiency, and as batteries become more efficient, then they will really play a major role in the energy transition moving forward. Even wind, when I was with the other company, we were looking at wind projects then. 1.5 megawatts per turbine. Maliliit lang, but that time was already big. Now there are like 6 megawatts per turbine. So with lesser space requirements, you're getting more output. I think beyond those technologies, we're looking at AI and data science.
With IBM, tama, sir?
Well, just one of them. We're talking to IBM for Maximo. This maintenance programs that we have. We got the full module and making sure that we're utilizing it to the fullest. Otherwise, it's an expensive investment that's just providing a work order generator. Hindi talaga ginagamit namin siya for total asset management. Totally believe in predictive analytics and helping our engineers make informed decisions in running plants. Like what we're doing, if you have historical data and you're confident with that data, say 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, the more data that you have, the better would be the algorithms in coming up with recommendations. With AI and data analytics, we can build digital twins, and we're updating our systems in Visayas for our coal plants, and we're looking at Terra Solar to be able to come up with simulate scenarios to digital twins by running a digital twin and see if we can, say, extend the running hours, get more output from the plant. What will happen? Because if you do that in a real life situation with the plant, you might break the plant, right? So, but if you have a digital twin, a very valid digital twin based on your data, then at least you have the confidence in making decisions of, say, let's extend the running hours by another month, right, or another 2 months. Why maintain the plant if it doesn't need to be maintained, right? It's like a car, every 5,000 or 10,000, because the OEM or your manufacturer is telling you, maintain it every 10,000. But if you have data that tell you that you don't need to, you can actually extend it by another 2 months or 2,000 kilometers, 5,000 kilometers. Putting in place. And then I would like to have better forecasting tools. We're working with, I won't mention the names, but 3 or 4 service providers that we're trying to select on allowing us to forecast demand, better forecast supply in the grid, and forecast the variability of our solar plants. That's important, particularly for Terra Solar, because we really want to optimize the charging and the discharging of our battery. Because that will give us a lot of value.
You've spoken before about turning MGEN into a future-ready powerhouse. What does being future-ready mean to you, technologically, culturally, and financially?
Yeah. Can I add again another thing to your previous question on technology? Of course, we're part of the discussions to consider nuclear energy in our portfolio. No? If we really want technology that is non-carbon emitting, then it's nuclear. We have no choice, right? If that tipping point is not available in 10 years or 20 years, right? We're part of the lobby on policies. We're monitoring, right? We're engaging suppliers from Korea, from France, from Canada. No? We've sent people. In fact, we have now a number of scholars in Meralco and MGEN taking up masters in nuclear engineering. No? I believe it's a 2-year course. No? But when they come back, of course, they have to, continue polishing their skills. So, but we don't have any nuclear plants, so we'll put them in our operating plant, and maybe once in a while send them again abroad to refresh whatever they've learned in those courses. We don't expect that on day one, when Philippines is ready for a nuclear plant, that these people will be running the plants. Of course, I think the OEM, whoever they are, will be providing operational maintenance services. But then we can inject local talents to learn. And these people that we sent abroad are young, in their mid to late 20s. No? So I think when the Philippines officially has 2032 as a target date, no? At least DOE has. But I think more likely around 2035 to 2040. But the only way to make that happen is for government to have very strong involvement, particularly in identifying the land, no? And managing the stakeholders where the plant will be. It's an option that's being considered. It's already a heavily populated area. No? Murong now is not Murong of 30 years ago or 40 years ago. So I think it's going to be difficult. But DOE is doing a feasibility study on that. Now going back to your other question, technologically, culturally, and financially. Well, we're looking at technologically. I think we're open to looking at all the technologies that are available to allow us to transition to a cleaner energy future. MTerra Solar is again one of the proof, no, that is a proof that we can really transition and provide a competitively priced option with variable renewable energy. Beyond that, I guess it's really waiting for what's out there. Distributed energy is something that we're watching closely. I've mentioned about 3Ds in my previous discussions, no? Decarbonization, decentralization, and digitalization. But the fourth D is coming, no? Democratization, when everything is available to every consumer, you know, something that's technology that's accessible and cost effective and affordable. And then culturally, the people should be able to embrace the growth mindset, no? And this is what we're doing in MGEN. No? We're fortunate enough to actually have a lot of low-hanging fruits that we were able to take advantage of, and we celebrated those wins. Even for big wins, we're saying, well, there are actually bigger challenges ahead. So, you know, let's celebrate this, but let's move on, right? And then financially, we need to make sure that our investments are not just meeting hurdles, but they are addressing major issues and major concerns. No? That they have to be purposive. It has to be enduring, sustainable, right, and supports long-term goals, not just of MGEN, but by the country itself. But at the end of the day, it's all about having a growth mindset, no? And bringing everyone, no, in our team to be part of this agenda, to be proud of what we represent as an organization, and to be proud of what we have achieved and what we are set to achieve in the future.
Last question before the quick fire. What's your call to action to young professionals, entrepreneurs, or policymakers who want to help power the Philippines' future?
First is understand the industry, you know, how things work. It's important to understand how things work. In fact, I think most of the issues that are coming up or being raised is because of lack of understanding of the whole system, di ba? We cannot just, we need to transition, but we cannot just transition for the sake of transition. No? It has to be deliberate, no? And we need to understand the consequences of our decisions when we actually invest in technologies. one of the ways to do this is to really communicate, and our team members are, I said, no, when you have the chance, when you have the opportunity to talk to your moms, to your lolas, to your titos, to your titas, sasabihin, bakit daw mahal ang kuryente, bakit hindi tayo renewable energy na lang, bakit nagba-brown out. I think we want our employees, no, to be the messengers, no, to deliver, to educate the stakeholders, no, and start with the family. That's something that we're encouraging. I myself, no, every opportunity that I get to communicate, I take it. In fact, I'm involved now in developing a curriculum, my alma mater, for a master's in energy management. I think it's going to be a 1-year full-time course in LaSalle. First time that they're going to offer it, and I told the professors and the ones that will actually implement this. It has to not just it doesn't have to be just energy engineering. It has to be energy management. It's a whole system thing, right? Technical, commercial, environmental, right? Even political needs. They need to be addressed, and they need to be part of the curriculum. So everyone that's taking it has got the holistic view of the energy landscape.
Sir, if you weren't in energy, what would you be doing right now? Teaching, farming, or launching a startup?
I think teaching. I learned to enjoy sharing knowledge. I learned to, and learning as well. I think teaching.
Magiging ano ka ba? Terror teacher ka ba? Terror professor ka ba, sir?
I'm not sure.
What's the first thing you do before your first meeting of the day? Coffee, meditation, or emails?
Coffee. I'm a coffee drinker. I love coffee. I'm passionate about coffee. I actually attended the barista training. Sabi ko, siguro when I retire, that's going to be my next career move.
Yun ang magiging startup mo, sir.
Maybe. One of the things that both, my family is considering. We're all foodies kasi.
Anong gamit niya na bean, sir?
In my in where I live, in the community where I live in the South, we have a neighbor that brings in single origin beans all over the world. No? Then they roast it. So again, I'm fortunate enough to have access to those beans. No? And then I have espresso machines. So, and I try to make coffee art. Before daw, abstracting. Ngayon meron ng korte. Kahit paano.
Try ko na Vietnamese, tapang.
Okay.
Brazilian. Okay. But the best pa rin sa akin, kape para.
Liberica. Yeah. The problem with Liberica when we roast it here in the Philippines, it's always dark roasted, so it's oily, right? It's difficult to use it in an espresso machine because it clogs the machine. So for espresso machines, it's either Arabica or Robusta. So if you want a lot of crema, the froth, right? There has to be some significant levels of Robusta in that blend. Kaya yung mga, minsan when you buy beans, yung mga blend, it's always a blend of Robusta and Arabica. So.
Galing! What's one work habit you picked during the pandemic?
Stop and smell the flowers. Diba? Parang, especially at that time, because people thought it's just a virtual meeting, they can call on meetings from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Right? So I said, no, let's pause a bit. Right? At that time, we don't know what's going to happen. So stop and smell the flowers once in a while.
Totoo yan, sir.
Diba?
Tsaka yung narinig ko yung mga huni ng ibon. Kasi mga planta, di ba? Nag-stop sila.
When I have opportunity to lock myself in the room, I just sit on the couch and then breathe. After 5 minutes, okay. Go again.
Akala ko, sir, yung naka-suit ka tapos naka-pajama ng ilalim. Ganun ang mga dating.
Virtual? I did that. I have a picture. I'll show you later on. Nakabarong ako din, naka-shorts.
Renewable energy or reliable Wi-Fi? Which would you rather lose for a week?
Use for a week?
Lose for a week.
Lose for a week? Renewable energy. We can easily connect, right? Connection is important. Week lang naman eh, di ba? I don't think it will make a difference given my consumption of energy as well, right? So,
What's the one app you cannot live without?
Spotify. Manny Rubio's playlist.
Ano ba yung nasa playlist mo, sir? Top 3.
Top 3, Don't Look Back in Anger, Pride in the Name of Love, a song by the Buffalo Springfield. I'll show you my playlist later on.
Your favorite power food before a big pitch meeting or presentation? Adobo, chocolate, or rice?
No, I'm not a big eater, so food.
Mas kinakabahan ka, mas gusto mo.
Breakfast, I guess, just cereal. Yeah, that's it. I'm not a big eater talaga.
Team meetings, 30 minutes or less, or as long as it takes.
We cap it for 2 hours, most of the meetings. But I will not stop a meeting just because we need to meet for 2 hours if the discussion is actually important. In my case, actually, when we attended this workshop, the teams now have this progression, no? Forming, storming, norming, and then performing. We said, I was thinking, well, I think we, at one time, we're in all of those places. And most of our meetings are actually storming. No? Kasi talagang the exchanges of ideas, everyone's really contributing. And I like that. Right? I don't like meetings where it's all presentation. I want discussions in meetings.
What's a book, podcast, or Netflix show that you read that recently inspired you? Energy related.
A book by Simon Sinek. My God, I forgot the title. Anyway, Netflix. I hate series because I don't get to finish them. Pero there's one that I've finished all seasons. Fauda. Watch it.
Sige.
Yeah, and yun.
Pero I think na ano ko na siya, nakita ko na siya.
And I saw the star, the lead actor in Tel Aviv a few years ago. He was sitting there in the bar. And I didn't know his name, but I know the name, the character. But I googled Duron. Hey, you're Lord Riaz. Yes. I am a big fan. You don't know that you're so big in the Philippines. I had a selfie with him.
Walang autograph.
Walang autograph. But I have a
Ano
selfie.
yung selfie?
So I go, what's going to happen to the next season? I cannot tell you.
If MGEN had a theme song for 2025, what would that be?
Don't Stop. Are you familiar with the song? Fleetwood Mac.
As we wrap up this conversation with Mr. Manny Rubio, we're reminded that the future of power isn't built on infrastructure alone. It's built on vision, values, and the will to evolve. From redefining therma's role in a decarbonizing world to building the Philippines' largest solar and battery project with MTerra, to bringing communities into the heart of development, Mr. Rubio is proving that legacy and innovation aren't opposites. They're partners. And in a sector often defined by complexity, his message is refreshingly clear. To power the country, you have to future-proof your people, your projects, and your purpose. Whether it's through flexible technologies like natural gas, bold renewables under MGEN, or grassroots CSR initiatives that go beyond compliance, MGEN's transformation under Mr. Rubio is more than just operational. It's cultural. We hope this episode sparked new ideas on how leadership can shape not just companies, but communities, and how energy, when done right, can be a true force for inclusion, resilience, and growth. Thank you for tuning in to the Power Podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, share, and follow Power Philippines on Facebook and LinkedIn for more updates. For your comments and suggestions, shoot us a message on Power Philippines' Facebook Messenger account or email us at news.powerph@gmail.com. And of course, stay updated on the country's energy sector by visiting powerphilippines.com and by liking us on Facebook. If you want to view this podcast again, check out our YouTube channel at Power Philippines News. I'm Mayie Tanglao. Until next time, keep those sparks of change alive.